In the annals of horse racing history, few names resonate with such enduring significance as the Darley Arabian. Foaled around 1700 in the deserts of the Middle East, this elegant bay Arabian stallion would come to redefine the very fabric of English horse breeding and, ultimately, global thoroughbred racing. Alongside the Godolphin Arabian and the Byerly Turk, the Darley Arabian is one of the three foundational sires of the thoroughbred breed. Yet, it is this particular horse, whose genetic legacy is unparalleled, coursing through the veins of more than 95% of all thoroughbreds today. This essay explores the life, legacy, and lasting impact of the Darley Arabian, a horse whose journey from Aleppo to Yorkshire altered the course of equine history forever. With a blend of historical depth, scientific insight, and cultural relevance, we will delve into how this horse shaped a breed, established dynasties, and left an imprint that still defines racing excellence in the 21st century. The story of the Darley Arabian begins in Aleppo, Syria, a city that was, during the early 18th century, a vibrant trading hub within the Ottoman Empire. British merchants often traveled there to buy exotic goods, including horses, which were prized for their speed, endurance, and grace. One such merchant was Thomas Darley, a British consul living in Aleppo. In 1704, Darley purchased a fine Arabian colt of extraordinary refinement and symmetry, reportedly by the famed Arabian stallion Manak. This colt, around 4 years old at the time, was described as bay in color, with a refined head, deep chest, and strong, clean legs, hallmarks of the Arabian breed. Thomas Darley intended the colt as a gift for his brother Henry Darley, who managed the family estate at Aldby Park in Yorkshire, England. After considerable effort, some sources suggest Darley had to smuggle the horse out of Syria due to Ottoman export restrictions. The horse was shipped across the Mediterranean and ultimately landed in England. It was during the reign of Queen Anne, in a time when England was solidifying its national identity and culture, including its infatuation with horse racing, that the Darley Arabian arrived. As one author wrote in 1840, the horse's arrival in England marked the great epoch from which the history of the turf should be dated. While no photographs or detailed paintings exist of the Darley Arabian, contemporary accounts describe him as standing approximately 15 hands high, which was relatively tall for an Arabian of that era. He had a lean, muscular build with a finely chiseled head, arched neck, and a long back, a confirmation that favored speed over long distances. His bay coat shimmered with a deep reddish-brown hue, and he possessed the alert, intelligent eyes characteristic of the Arabian breed. His most lauded trait, however, was his temperament. Known for his calm yet spirited demeanor, the Darley Arabian passed on not just physical attributes to his offspring, but also his cooperative disposition, which made his progeny easier to train and more willing competitors. The Darley Arabian was not paraded in fashionable circles, nor entered into competitive racing. Instead, he lived a relatively quiet life at Aldby Park, standing at stud, initially for private use. However, his reputation as a sire began to spread. By 1722, he was recognized as the leading sire in Great Britain and Ireland, an extraordinary feat considering his limited exposure to outside mares. Though not prolific in the sheer number of offspring sired compared to later stallions, the quality of his progeny was exceptional. He consistently stamped his foals with speed, intelligence, and refinement. It was through just a few exceptional sons that his legacy exploded. The Darley Arabian's most famous direct offspring was the undefeated Flying Childers, considered by many to be the greatest racehorse of the 18th century. Foaled in 1715, Flying Childers was out of Betty Leeds, a royal mare. In his racing career, he never lost a race, often winning by large margins, and was so dominant that he would sometimes scare away competition entirely. His victories came with such ease that observers credited his Arabian heritage for his natural speed and grace. Another critical offspring was Bartlett's Childers, a full brother to Flying Childers, but who was never raced due to respiratory issues. Despite this, Bartlett's Childers became perhaps even more important than his illustrious brother, as the great-grandsire of Eclipse, the most influential thoroughbred stallion of all time. It is through Eclipse that the Darley Arabian's bloodline dominates modern thoroughbred pedigrees. Eclipse, foaled in 1764, was so extraordinary on the racetrack that he also retired undefeated. But his impact as a sire is what cemented his legacy. He sired 3 Derby winners and numerous sons who would carry on his lineage with unrivaled success. Today, 95% of all thoroughbreds can trace their Y chromosome, the male lineage, directly back to the Darley Arabian, and specifically through Eclipse. In fact, modern genetic testing has confirmed this dominance. The Y chromosome, which is passed unchanged from father to son, acts as a kind of genetic fossil. Its near-total monopolization of the thoroughbred breed underscores the overwhelming reproductive success of Eclipse, and, by extension, his ancestor, the Darley Arabian. The Darley Arabian's influence wasn't limited to England. One of his sons, Bully Rock, was the first thoroughbred exported to America in 1730. He was imported by Samuel Gist of Virginia and became one of the first building blocks of American horse breeding. While Bully Rock did not leave a monumental genetic mark in America, due in part to a lack of well-bred mares, the symbolism of his journey is profound. He represented the introduction of thoroughbred bloodlines to the New World, a prelude to the later dominance of American-bred racehorses in the 19th and 20th centuries. In the 21st century, geneticists have confirmed what breeders and historians have long suspected. The Darley Arabian's impact on the thoroughbred is unparalleled. A 2005 study analyzing the Y-DNA of over 500 male thoroughbreds found that over 95% descended directly from the Darley Arabian. This singular dominance is unmatched in the animal kingdom, where even the most dominant sires tend to fade within a few generations. But the story doesn't stop at simple descent. The Darley Arabian line also displays genetic markers that correlate with desirable racing traits, such as muscle development, lactic acid tolerance, and cardiovascular efficiency. These traits have likely contributed to the ongoing dominance of his bloodline in modern racing. While best known for his impact on racing, the Darley Arabian has influenced all corners of equine sport and culture. His descendants have excelled not just on the flat tracks of Newmarket and Churchill Downs, but also in steeplechasing, show jumping, and dressage. Many show horses and eventers carry Darley Arabian blood, which manifests in their agility, intelligence, and athleticism. Moreover, his lineage has helped refine other breeds. His descendants contributed to the development of the American quarter horse, standardbred, and Anglo-Arabian. While these influences are indirect and sometimes controversial in breed registry circles, they are a testament to the genetic vigor of the Darley Arabian's line. Among the 3 great foundation sires of the thoroughbred, the Byerly Turk, the Godolphin Arabian, and the Darley Arabian, it is the latter whose legacy has proven the most dominant. The Byerly Turk, while important, has seen his direct male line dwindle significantly, surviving today in only a few scattered descendants. The Godolphin Arabian, meanwhile, holds a revered place in racing history, particularly through his son Matcham, but his Y chromosomal line has also nearly vanished. In contrast, the Darley Arabian's line, through Eclipse and his countless descendants, has become the very spine of modern thoroughbred breeding. This dominance is not merely statistical but practical. Stallions from his line have won every major race on earth, sired the most champions, and commanded the highest stud fees. The Darley Arabian story is not just one of bloodlines and racing results. It is a narrative interwoven with cultural significance. Statues, plaques, and paintings commemorating him can be found throughout England. The Darley family estate at Aldby Park remains a site of interest for equestrian historians. The Darley stud, now operated under the global Godolphin banner by Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, carries the Darley name as a nod to the legacy begun over 300 years ago. Books, poems, and essays have celebrated his influence. Historians and equine scholars point to his story as symbolic of East meeting West, a tale of global exchange, and the fusion of ancient breeding with modern sport. His Arabian roots are still celebrated today as a reminder of the rich history behind the modern racing thoroughbred. The Darley Arabian was more than a horse. He was a genetic revolution, a catalyst that reshaped the future of horse racing and left a biological legacy unmatched by any other stallion in history. From his arrival in Queen Anne's England, to his son's triumphs on the racetrack and their grandson's proliferation across the world, the Darley Arabian's impact is both deep and enduring. Today, when a thoroughbred charges down the home stretch at Royal Ascot, the Kentucky Derby, or the Japan Cup, it is almost certain that the Darley Arabian rides again, his DNA woven into the sinews, lungs, and heart of the champion. His story is a testament to how a single horse, with the right mixture of speed, spirit, and opportunity, can change the course of an entire breed, and indeed a sport. He may have arrived in England as an exotic gift, but he left the world a legacy of immortality on the turf. The Darley Arabian is, quite simply, the father of the modern thoroughbred.